Welcome back to Traveling Dice. This is Jason. I have a miniatures review for you today, taking a look at Reaper Miniatures Blacktooth Terror. And this is from the Reaper Bones miniature line. I purchased this through one of the Reaper Bones Kickstarters. As far as I can tell, it's not yet available for purchase via Reaper's regular website, but hopefully that's changing in the not too distant future because I really love this model. I'll point out just a couple of things that I didn't like about the model so much. So I added this rectangular base. The reason for this primarily is that I wanted to have the option of using this in Warhammer Fantasy. And there's things like Storm of Magic, where you can take like big monsters, and he would either fit as one of the monsters or would be a reasonable substitute. So having him on a square or rectangular base is really necessary for Warhammer Fantasy. So that's one of the reasons I added him onto this base. The base that he actually comes with is this portion here, as you see this stone portion that he's standing on. I did find that when I just laid that base flat prior to putting him on the rectangular base, that it didn't sit flush, and there was definitely a wobble with that base. This is the only issue with some of the Reaper Bones models, is that sometimes parts of them can get a little wonky. They've gotten better over time, and the Reaper Bones Black models are just amazing. This one I don't believe was a Reaper Bones Black. So the base had a wobble in it. And the other thing that I'll point out to you here is this rock right here under his belly here. Although I don't think it stands out greatly, I added that. It's just a rock from the garden and that I painted over, but I added that only because he was tilting forward to the point where his tiny arm was actually touching down. So that's the other problem with, especially sometimes the really big Reaper Bones models, is that they can kind of slant down, especially those that are only on two legs where you have a huge portion of the model that's either at the front or back. So that was the case with this guy for sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if when this guy's available, that you might encounter some of those problems with him. Other than that, I absolutely love everything about this model. Super detailed, super fun to paint. Sometimes with these like reptilian models, I know dinosaurs, things with scales, I personally find that they're a little too smooth, and that a smooth model for me is a lot harder to paint. This guy has just the right amount of texture in my opinion. Not so much so that it is distracting or doesn't look right, but it makes it really enjoyable to paint, and frankly a lot easier to paint as well. So you have these ridges here, you have a lot of texture here, and I think this model actually takes a dry brush really well, which I like, and that may not be for everybody. And then even the scales here on the side, even though they're more subtle, they are pronounced enough that it's easy to get some distinction between your colors. His jaw is just amazing. I love the tongue. The teeth really stand out. The detail in the eyes. I love this. I'm not sure what the term is here, but this like tissue here as he's opening his maw really stands out nicely to me. So really like this guy. He is a nice addition potentially for a Warhammer monster, and I think a great addition for a D&D campaign potentially. If you're a player character and you have the polymorph spell, I think that this guy is a great option for the use of the polymorph spell. So again, highly recommend this guy. I purchased him, and when he becomes available, you might consider it as well. Overall grade, I would give this guy, I think, an A-, just those subtle issues with the base and the leaning forward. But other than that, the other thing with these reviews that I do want to include is the size of the model. Sometimes when I'm looking at miniature sites, it's really hard to gauge the size of the model. So just as a point of reference here, from the tip of his tail to his mouth is approximately 11 inches. So this is a mammoth model. And his height is about 4.5 inches. And on this particular base, this base is 150 millimeters deep and 100 millimeters wide. So it's approximately 100 millimeters is approximately 4 inches, and 150 millimeters is approximately 6 inches. So I do definitely want to include those types of things when I do these miniature reviews, because in my opinion, definitely the Reaper's site, it's often hard to tell the exact size of models. So I sometimes I purchase it kind of crossing my fingers, or even sometimes purchase it just like thinking, oh, the price will kind of make me think it's a medium model or a large model or a small model. So that's the size of this guy. Awesome model. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more of these, please do like and subscribe. Bye for now.